How are we doing, folks? It's Mario from MF Fly Tying. If you are just new to the channel, thank you very much for joining me for the first time. Hopefully you enjoy the video and you want to subscribe for more. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for your continued support. So in the vise today, we've got a size 12 nymph hook. It's a barbless hook, and we're going to be tying a buzzer that gets lots of attention. It is a buzzer that will fish through the winter as well, maybe in a size 14. But certainly, when we get into the buzzers fishing season, this is one to get tied and get on your cast. So pretty easy to tie. Thread I'm using is a black UTC for the thread, and we'll go ahead and we'll tie the fly. Good thing about this particular buzzer is you can do it in lots of different variations once you've got the initial tying. You can do lots with it. So we'll get a black thread down towards where our barb would be, and then we're going to come in with a red tinsel. Whether it's a holographic or a flat tinsel, it's entirely up to yourself. I'm using a flat red tinsel. Just bring that round, kind of a third of the way around the bend of the hook, then back up to where the point of the hook. Just get that thread out the way. And then this is going to give us a red trigger point on the back of the buzzer. It's a great combination. As I said, you can change your holographics on this fly if you wish. This is the one that gets me a lot of attention. So bring our thread back up, and then on the way down we're going to get tied in some stripped peacock quill. This one's from Vineyard and it's a natural. Sorry, I was out yesterday in the Lake of Menteith. Come back with a bit of a sore throat, so apologies if I'm sounding a bit croaky. So we'll get our peacock strip quill tied in on my side, tying it in with the thick side in first. And just make sure that we've got a nice even body. Before we get our quill up. You can do this in kind of touch and turns, but the natural quill has got a dark and a light side to it. So it naturally gives you your segmentation. So just break that off. And then bring your thread down just about a third of the length of the hook. Now for the thorax cover, this is an opal mirage that I'm using. It's a medium. This is from UTC. I'll get that tied in over the back. Build our head up slightly, and then we want to come in with some flexi floss, and this one here, this is a sunburst flexi that I picked up from Chuck and Duck. So I want to get that in, and then with either side you want to tie it in on the way back towards where our thorax starts, and just make sure you've got everything tied in nice and neat. before you bring the materials back up. Bring a thorax cover over. And get our opal mirage tied off. Right, as you see, we've got the way that we've tied this flexi floss. It's coming in from underneath, so it's not on the side, it's underneath, and that's going to allow us, when we bring our flexi floss up either side, we're going to bring it from the underneath up towards the eye of the hook. Just make sure that that's nice and neat and tidy. 2 or 3 turns just to lock it in. Now at this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my whip finish, and I'm just going to add a couple of whip finishes just in front of the flexi, and that's just going to help hold everything in. Okay, so a wee thorax cover, and then pulling your flexi tight, trim that off. Now the reason why I've put in a couple of whip finishes there is it's got a tendency to pop off the front without having those couple of whip finish turns in there, and what will happen is you'll go to cut off your flexi, and then what will happen is it will ping off and you'll need to restart the thorax again. So it's a good way of just making sure that you don't damage anything. So there's the underside. The 2 breathers are coming out, and then we want to come in with some varnish. Now you can come in with some UV resin first, which I sometimes do, but for the majority of my buzzers I'll come in with a coat of Sally Hansen. I'll leave them to the side until I'm finished tying a dozen of them, and then I'll go back once it's dry and it's soaked into the thread wraps. I'll come in with probably 2 or 3 other coats just to build that up, and that'll give you the nice shine. If you've not fished buzzers before, it's a really exciting way of fishing. Lots of people ask how do you go about fishing them. To be honest, your buzzers are not moving very quickly, so it's a case of floating line or a tip line, cast them out. If it's straight line buzzers, anywhere between 2, 3, 4 buzzers, space at least 3 feet apart, cast them out across the wind, and then just keep in touch with them, slow figure of 8, and just wait for the pull. Providing that you've not got a huge amount of slack, you will feel the fish taken, so don't be worried about not feeling them. You will feel it. Alternative is to stick either a booby or a fab on the point, fishing a washing line again with a tip line or a full floating line, and cast it up, and your booby or fab will just sit on the point, and it will just help to take those flies down a little bit slower, and keep them in the feeding zone as well. So if you're looking for some inspiration and you fancy tying up some buzzers this weekend, give that fly a go. Absolutely superb. It works almost every time, and it's a great pattern. If you want, change the red holographic at the back. You can put in some green or some blue, purple, some gold, silver, etc. Just tie exactly the same, and you can do the same thing with your cheeks. You can change the sunburst over and put in olive or chartreuse or red, any colours that you've got there, and just mix and match them, and you should get joy on them all. But if you can master that wee pattern, dead easy to tie half a dozen of them, change your red holographic to something else, and start building out half a dozen of those patterns in each of the colours, and hopefully you enjoyed it. So guys, if you're on the water this weekend, good luck, tight lines, catch you in the water soon. Take care, bye bye.